Hi, I'm John Cordes, and we're back on the History Trail. We're here at the Cathedral of the Incarnation again. And right behind me, the Cathedral House, is where I went to nursery school. And I can even remember as a little kid being there and looking at this magnificent cathedral and wondering, who built it and what it was all about. And that's why when people ask me, how long have you been interested in history? And I'm like, well, today's Tuesday, always, as long as I can remember. And today, we have something very special for you. We're going to talk about the mystery of the cathedral. Now, the whole idea behind the Cathedral of the Incarnation was that it was to be Stuart's final resting place. A.T. Stewart was to be buried in the crypt underneath the high altar of this cathedral. But while it was under construction, he was buried temporarily in the St. Mark's Churchyard in Lower Manhattan. Now, something terrible happened while the cathedral was being built. On November 6, 1878, during the night, thieves broke into that churchyard and stole the remains of A.T. Stewart. They took his body north through New York State into Canada, and they dealt with Stewart's family through his legal advisor, Henry Hilton, Hilton Avenue, and Hilton refused to pay the ransom. They dealt through classifieds in the New York Herald, and they even sent back the coffin nameplate to prove that they had the remains. The case dragged on for years into the early 1880s with no resolution. Now, there are different theories to how this story ends. In one supported by the memoir of the chief of police of New York City Police Department at the time, Cornelia got tired of Henry Hilton not dealing with the kidnappers, so she got one of her nephews to make a secret deal with the kidnappers, and in exchange for money somewhere in Westchester County, the remains of A.T. Stewart were brought out to the cathedral on a shipment of marble and secretly held here until the crypt was ready. Then he quietly was placed in the crypt. That's one version. Another version is the kidnappers never get their money, and Stewart remains in an unmarked grave somewhere outside of Montreal, Canada. We really don't know for sure, because no one ever checked. Cathedral believes he's there, because they said their business is based on faith, and they believe he's there, and that's good enough for them. But there has been this terrific book written about the kidnapping case called The Missing Corpse. This is available at the Garden City Public Library. I did work with the author, and I did write the foreword for the book, and it really explores the case in some detail. We'd love to show you the crypt, but it's always under lock and key. It's not the kind of thing you can just snap your fingers and... Can't believe that worked. We're here. We're in the crypt of the Cathedral of the Incarnation, underneath the high altar. This is what they were preparing for the final resting place of Alexander Turney Stewart. Unfortunately, the kidnapping case really messed up those plans, but very few people get to see this. You get to see it today with me. So let's take a look at the crypt. The stained glass windows inside the crypt again depict different scenes from the Bible concerning Christ. They were made by a different company than Clayton Bell and Company of London. It was a different London firm. It was the Heaton, Butler and Bain Company. They are considered, these windows, to be the finest inside the Cathedral of the Incarnation. In the midst of the rotunda, there's a freestanding altar of white Vermont marble. It's covered in a red cloth. On the face of the cloth is a hand-sewn monogram. The peacocks which support the monogram are symbolic of Christ's resurrection. The Chi Rho, the monogram of Christ, which in this instance has the Chi X in the form of a cross and the Rho R formed on the upright arm, is the most ancient public symbol of Christ. This altar was actually placed here later. What used to be the centerpiece of the crypt was this urn, which is now over here on the side. This urn was placed here in the very beginning with Alexander T. Stewart's name on it, the day he died, his age, his wife Cornelia, the day she died, and her age. Water has eroded away their names now, much as time has eroded away their memory. But this urn, like I said, used to be right in the center of the crypt as a marker, and they, the Stewarts, are buried somewhere in the floor of this crypt with no marker, so no one could kidnap their bodies again. Hopefully he made his way back here, and hopefully this magnificent cathedral, which was built in his memory, is now his final resting place. I hope you enjoyed this look at the Cathedral of the Incarnation and the mystery of the crypt. Now tune in next time when we'll be on the History Trail at one of the most recognized landmarks on Long Island, the Garden City Hotel. I'm John Cordes, and we'll see you next time.